This is the Big Lap Chats podcast, where our mission is to help caravanners and campers plan their ultimate lap of Australia. Whether you're dreaming of hitting the road or already travelling, we provide all the information and tools you need to bring your dream to life. Tune in as our expert host Annette Jones chats with Australia's big lappers, caravanners and campers, sharing hints and tips for creating the best memories while travelling around Australia. Be sure to check out Annette's website, All Around Oz, Australia's leading site for planning a lap of Australia. But now, settle in and hit play while you're on the road and listen as Annette delivers today's episode.
Welcome to the third episode of Big Lap Chats, and today my guests are Vicki and Glenn Bryant from Happy Campers. Welcome.
Happy Campers Australia, Annette.
Oh, sorry, Happy Campers Australia.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, you're welcome. And just in case people don't know who you are, how long you've been on the road, would you just to give a brief introduction to who you are, how long you've been on the road, and what you love about the lifestyle?
We've been on the road since
2018, full-time.
Full-time, yeah.
Yeah, lots of travelling, obviously, before that. But full-time since 2018. We never did a typical lap. There's too much to see, isn't there?
Yeah.
Zigzagging all over the place. So we've been all around the country, and we've seen a lot of places 2-3 times.
Yeah. Western Australia 3 times.
So we've seen a lot, and we love it. We just love the lifestyle. We're still learning after 6 years to go a bit slower. We can't slow down very well.
But it does beat working. Yeah,
that's for sure. Yeah, sure does.
So what was it that made you decide to hit the road in the first place?
Glenn.
Mental health.
Yeah. Glenn was having problems at work and had a pretty serious burnout. It was affecting his mental health, and you were pretty sick, weren't you?
Yeah, I wasn't well. Wasn't in a good spot.
No, that's right.
Prior to that was a bit of a wake-up call with a dissected vertebral artery stroke.
Which is a very rare type of stroke that he had when he was 48. And he recovered with lots of therapies and what have you, and that made us go out and travel more, but we were still working. Yeah. And then when he had this burnout a few years later, and we just thought, nah, that's enough. It's time. Work's not that important. And really, you can cope without much stuff. It's cheaper to live on the road, what we've found.
Yeah, we did work towards it. We tried to get the mortgage down as quick.
You're talking about before we went away?
Before we went away.
Yeah, but it depends what her next questions are going to be.
Yeah.
If we keep talking and we...
That's okay. It's all good. Yeah. You just natter away. Tell me whatever you want to tell me.
So do we want to start with finances before we left?
Yeah, finances before we left.
Yeah.
Yes. So before we left, we didn't necessarily save money because we were only going to have a gap year.
Yeah, it was only going to be 1 year. Yeah.
And didn't necessarily save money into a bank account for that. We stashed it against the mortgage, didn't we? Yeah. So we tried to get that mortgage down as low as we could so that when we did our gap year, we could redraw. Mm-hmm. So that's how we managed. I think back in 2018, things were very different to now too. So I don't know if I'd like to recommend that you do that nowadays, unless you're comfortable doing it. We were very comfortable doing it. I just think you've got to live for today, and Glenn's health was too important, so we had to find it. So we just drew from the home loan for that first year, but we found we didn't need as much as we thought. The money went further.
Surprise.
Yeah, so we stretched it. Gap year is now 6 years.
Just extended it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I know people are going to wonder, how on earth do you stay on the road for that long?
Do you mean financially, or do you mean living together in a small space? Because
both.
It's very difficult.
Whatever you feel comfortable answering.
Yeah. Look, as we said before, financially, we found out that you really don't need that much. And we've found ways. We've worked a tiny bit, not enough to cover what we've been doing, but we've got it worked out. We're not rich, but we've found ways to make it work. And when things are that serious, what we had to, Glenn might not be here today if we hadn't have made that decision. So that's what we had to do. As for living in a small space, Glenn, how's that?
Oh, it does get difficult sometimes. Can I get past you?
Yeah. You want to go to the toilet?
Yes.
Please shut the door.
Shut the fridge so I can get past.
It's all those little things, but that's small stuff, isn't it? First world problems, because we're living the dream.
Yeah, for sure. And your comment about you might not be rich, but you certainly are rich in memories in those situations.
Yeah. And we're definitely rich in life, for sure.
Yes, yeah. I think that happens a lot when there's health challenges, or maybe someone in the family has a health challenge and passes away or whatever. That makes people rethink their lives.
Yeah, life is not, there's no guarantees.
Nope.
No.
Definitely not.
No. So you have to try and make the most of it. And even if that hadn't happened and our plan was to be leaving in 5 or 10 years' time, which maybe about this time in our lives we might have been starting out on our journey if it didn't happen back in 2018.
Yeah.
People who leave it till their retirement age or older, their health is failing, and the hikes there's so many hikes and beautiful things to see out there that you've got to be have a little bit of fitness to get to.
Yes.
Doing it younger, like I was 48, Glenn was 55 when we left. We were younger, obviously no kids with us, but we have been able to see and do a lot.
Decisions all round then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a couple of questions for you. What's the one thing most lappers overlook that they could make or break their entire journey, do you think?
Gosh.
Most lappers
Overlook. That could make or break their journey.
Leaving the kids at home.
Why would that make or break the journey?
It could be fun.
I really don't know. It's
everybody's individuals.
Everybody's different, and our advice.
There has been some breakups halfway around, as far as
you mean from other people you've heard. Yeah, because of that living in a small space, and when people have worked their own working lives you're not always living together 24/7. But that's not a make or break question. It might break them if they end up doing their lap and they can't make it work. It's not easy.
No, and I think
communication.
You find a way around that.
I go for a wander with my camera and
with your camera.
Yep.
We first arrive at a campsite. That's always so exciting, arriving at a new campsite.
Yeah.
And it's something we only ever stay a few days. We don't stay very long at all, but we've hardly even set up, and Glenn's off with his camera.
Yeah.
That's his time, and he leaves me to set the van up.
So would you say then for people to have their own time to do whatever they want to do?
Yeah. You still need, even though you are together so often, you need to have that time where you can do what you want to do and have your alone time.
Yeah.
Glenn needs that. I don't necessarily need that. I find I don't get sick of you. But yeah, Glenn, he loves his time with the birds. He loves his wildlife photography. Yeah, go off and listen for tweets in the trees.
Yeah.
And keeps him happy.
Really cool. What are the 3 biggest money saving hacks that every lapper needs to know before hitting the road?
Oh, you're spraying some beauties on us here, Annette.
These are the questions people want to know.
Free camping.
Yep.
Yeah.
As much as possible.
Okay, but I think free camping isn't everything. We all love free camping. It's not just the free of money, it's the freedom that you get from that as well.
Yeah.
But for people who say they want to free camp all the way around Australia to save money, I sometimes wonder that's not for everyone, because you can also save money by not free camping, we've found.
But staying longer.
So at a place. So in a place where we're going to stay 2 nights, if we stay 4, you're using less fuel.
That's right.
You're not driving to the next campsite. So you might save $50 in fuel. And so you can afford to pay $20 a night for a campsite. When you look at it that way, free camping isn't always a money saver.
Yep.
I think
it depends on
it depends on so many things.
How far out of town you are, or
when you stay put, you still want to drive and see the attractions and things, but you're not driving 300-400 k's to the next campsite.
Yeah.
So is that 2 money saving ideas? Because one's free camping and one's staying longer.
Well, the one that you love is being able to wash in the van.
Oh yes, yeah. I have never in the whole 6 years, or since 2018, coming on 7 years, never paid for a load of washing or drying in the caravan.
Yep.
And we'll free camp the majority, or unpowered camp the majority of the time. But a washing machine doesn't use much power off an inverter. So I run it off the inverter. The water, I never use the tank water in our caravan because that's precious when you're free camping. So I'll find unpotable water somewhere and pour it into the washing machine, even reuse shower water. But by doing that, it's meant that I haven't had to spend a cent on laundry in all that time. So that's another money-saving idea.
Yeah, that's great. What's the secret to finding the most breathtaking yet completely under the radar destinations around Australia? What
Do you have a secret?
I just tend to use wiki camps, and
I
go for the reviews, and I go for the pictures.
But I do a lot more research into future campsites than Glenn. Glenn is fantastic at going where I tell him to go. Yeah. So
he's good at being told what to do. That's great.
Yeah. Yep. I research.
I go to buggery sometimes.
I can research up to 2 years in advance for particular campsites, not knowing when we're going to get there. So what I'll do is I'll take note of other people's comments on all of the Facebook reviews, wiki camps reviews, like from anywhere. Things will pop up in the planning lap page, and people will say, I stayed at this spot and it was great. And I'll look at it, wiki, review it, look at and decide I've got to stay there one day. Yeah. Even if we don't know when we're going to get there, and I take a note of that particular campsite. So when we arrive somewhere, I'll have half a dozen options that I've read about over the years, and we can choose. We can take a look for ourselves and decide if they're what we think, and sometimes they're not as good as what the person made out. So we've got another option to try.
And speaking of wiki camps, what do you think of the latest update?
It's exciting, isn't it?
It's nobody likes change, do they?
Yeah.
So, we've played around with it a bit, and I think we're not familiar with it at all yet, but we're getting there. Yeah. And I think it possibly could be good, but I still think everyone's going to miss their love hearts.
Yes, that
places.
Yeah, that's a big one, I think, because visually you can actually see where that is and go straight to it.
Whereas I think they've tried to improve it by putting more options, like you've got liked, I want to stay there, I've been here, those sorts of things.
Yes,
but they're not visual from the main screen.
No.
So they'll tweak it. They'll get it right.
I am sure.
Yeah.
Wiki Camps is your number one that you and groups like Planning a Lap of Australia,
that's
obviously.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, cool. If you can give one piece of advice to someone that's planning their first lap, what would that be?
Oh, I know this one.
I actually did this yesterday.
I gave it to someone yesterday. Do you want to tell people what my advice is, Glenn?
No.
Oh. My advice, because I was talking to friends who were talking of doing a lap, and they said, we're going to leave sometime next year.
Yeah.
Maybe May. My piece of advice is make a date, stick to it, work towards it, have goals that if I want to leave on May 1st, I have to have this done by March and this done by April, and don't put it off. As I said to them, life gets in the way. There'll be grandbabies, there will be car trouble, something will happen that will stop you from going. And you need to deal with those somethings, but not change your date to leave. I think if you do that, you just keep putting it off and time gets away. Make your date and go.
Yep. Yeah. Part of that's my number one advice too. And part of my ebook, I give away bonuses, and two of those bonuses are, one is a 12-month rundown.
Yep.
And then the second one is actually a 12-week, like what to do, those last few weeks.
There's a lot to do.
We've just gone through it again, unpacked the van and then repacked it and had a date to go. So it was good to refresh.
It is.
The advice I'm giving people too.
With you talking about that, like even though we've been on the road since 2018, we always go home for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So we get home for Christmas, have Christmas with the family, and then we take off later in January, because you don't really want to be on the road through that January peak school holiday time anyway. And we've got a home that we can do that. Yeah. So we do go home to the family at Christmas time. And every time we go home, we have a clean out and dump some stuff, because you can't keep accumulating. Weights are too important.
Yes, that's for sure. So what do you think the biggest myth about travelling around Australia is that needs to be busted?
Doing a lap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it is difficult to do a lap.
Too much to
see things at the right time.
Yes.
Seasons.
Yeah, because seasons get in the way, and especially wet season, dry season.
Mm.
And we've been to Kokoda where it's end of season.
Yep.
And we've been down in Denmark in WA where it's been freezing.
Yeah, it's probably always freezing down there.
It's probably always freezing.
Beautiful, but freezing.
Yeah.
But good luck to people if that's all the time they've got to do a lap in X amount of time.
Yeah.
But it's impossible to do a lap. You've really got to zigzag to see the country.
Are they missing out on Tassie? Because it's one of the
but are they missing out on so much more of Australia?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Seasons just don't line up perfectly.
It's not long enough.
Yeah, exactly.
You've only got 3 months of that ideal being winter north in the winter.
Yes.
And that's not enough to see that whole part of Australia. We've been up
to gets frantic at Cape York.
We've done Cape York one year. We've done Darwin another year. We've done the Kimberley another year. We did Broome another year, all to keep in the seasons. Oh, and then you talk about Kokoda. That was another year, and we were too late. We've got to go back next year because so how many dry seasons, how many winters is that I rattled off? But we still haven't seen it all properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And I think that's when you're on the road, when you finally hit the road and you're doing the do, that's when you realise there is just, we all know Australia's a big country and it takes quite a while to get from A to B in some parts of, say, WA or across the Nullarbor, those sorts of things. It's not until you can experience that for yourself that you think, crikeys, you could spend a year in each state and it will not be enough.
Exactly. Yeah, a year in each state would easily be done, especially Western Australia. We've already spent a year in Western Australia when we add up our 3 visits, and we still need to go back.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you people who set out on a lap might have the intention of doing the lap in their 12 months, but I think what they're doing is just getting a taste for what they need to go back to. Because, it's not long enough.
Yes, you miss out on 400 kilometres from Broome to, say, 90 Mile Beach.
Yep.
In WA, you can't really miss out on 400 kilometres on the lower Queensland coast or New South Wales or Victoria.
Big distances to travel in WA, you mean.
Yeah.
It's just a huge state.
It is. Yeah. It is. Now, I know that you've got a YouTube channel, but listeners might not. How do you stay connected and productive on the road without sacrificing the adventure? Because I know that you travel and move quite a bit.
We do move a lot, don't we?
Starlink has been a wonder.
Starlink has been great, especially for uploading those YouTube videos.
Yeah.
But we're at the point We've only really become more active with YouTube in the last 2 years.
Okay.
So the first 4 years was mainly focused on Facebook. So we've got a really good following there on Facebook, and YouTube's growing. But I think the last 2 years we can afford to have, we call them work days, and to get a YouTube episode out, we need to have several work days to get an episode out. But we can afford to have those work days where we're not touring, but I mean recording.
Yes.
For the episodes, we're still touring all the time.
If we compromised on the way we edited things, we could do it faster, but we've not us.
Our channel, we've decided that we want to focus on travel and camping styles more so than the likes of what we're eating for dinner, cute pictures of kids and dogs, and let's face it, we're no body beautiful. People aren't going to watch for us in a bikini, but
maybe
so that's
me.
maybe, but that's why we want to focus on showing people great destinations and great campsites.
Yeah, and you do that really well.
Thank you. But it does take time. It's easy to fluff out an episode if you're just showing what you've had for dinner, because we all have to eat dinner.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So what's your insider secret that you swear by but rarely share with the public?
We share everything.
Okay.
Don't we?
Pretty much.
We're pretty open.
Have we a secret?
I don't think we've got secrets.
When Vicky's not talking is very rare.
You've probably noticed that today.
Yeah, and she likes to photograph me eating, whether it be a pie or.
You do like your pies.
I do like my pies.
Yeah.
Sadly, we get
do like
withdrawals.
It's been a few weeks since. Yeah, it's been a few weeks.
Where's the best pie you've had, Glenn? Kev's a pie man. He loves a good pie.
Kev's a pie man.
Yeah.
I quite like the ones in WA.
Okay.
What was that?
Oh, I don't know. You have that many pies.
I do.
Don't ask me. You say to me all the time, that place in WA, where was it? How am I going to get into your mind?
I saw Yarram had a good run recently, actually.
In Victoria.
In Victoria, people were giving the Yarram pies, which I did try.
Yeah.
And it was good, but they didn't make potato pies, and potato pies are my favourite.
Oh, what about that potato pie you had in? Now I'm going to do the same thing to you. Where they stuffed the mashed potato under the pie.
Mount Isa.
Mount Isa.
Of all places.
He wanted a potato pie, and she said, "I can make you one."
Yeah.
So she had a big pie. She took the lid off. She stuffed some mashed potato in it. Put the lid back on.
There you go.
And there was his potato pie.
It was huge.
I bet.
Yeah.
But yeah, secrets. Nah,
So no secrets.
I don't.
All your secrets are on YouTube. Hey.
Yeah.
I know you're fantastic at photography, and I believe you've had some of your photographs or images in calendars and so forth. Can you?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you tell us a bit about that?
For the past couple of years, maybe
Probably
four
or more.
years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Country pub calendar.
Oh yeah.
Country pub
Camping calendar. Yes.
Lovely.
Been my photos. I do try to do something a little bit unusual. Wait for the pub to close to take photos.
Yeah.
At night time with the stars out, and goes over pretty
Or
good.
the clouds, if they're nice.
Or the
wispy
clouds. Yeah, sometimes you just these
just-
are good clouds. Where's
just
the
looking-
pub? Yeah.
looking for something a bit different. But the last couple of years, you've had 2 months photographs in the country pub camping too, which is a bit of an honour.
Yeah. No, they've been good to me.
And this year, silo art.
Silo art this year, the
Oh,
Australian Silo Art calendar.
Nice.
Got a month in that this year.
That was just being in the right place at the right time, where the silo art was near Dimboola,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
between Dimboola and Rainbow. And it's not a well-travelled road. It was just, there's silo art. Let's take a photo.
Yeah, it was a pretty
Get the drone up.
Yeah.
But he's also had photographs. He's been contacted by Shire councils and visitor centres and that sort of thing to use his photographs in brochures, tourism brochures.
Yeah.
So we have sold a couple of your photos that way.
Yep.
Good for
Which
you.
is a bit of an honour.
Yeah, very much.
I've tried a couple of photo competitions, but it's hard to know what they actually
want.
Yeah, what they're
So
looking
you're
for.
best just to do what you want because you love it.
Yeah. And, that's captured in the image, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's good. I can call myself professional because I've been paid for 2.
Why not?
Yeah.
Now, for those that don't know your setup, what do you travel in and what do you tow behind it?
We travel in currently a 2018 Ford Ranger, and it has got a canopy set up on the back of it.
Yep.
Which has got 400 watts of solar on the roof.
Yep.
A 200 watt battery.
200 amp
lithium battery, and a 130 litre fridge in the back of that.
I love the fridge in the
She likes
vehicle.
the fridge. Yeah.
And there's a water tank there as well. And the canopy now has made the vehicle really ideal for what we need on the road. And then as for what we tow, we've got a Kokoda Caravan. Now, we're pretty passionate about Kokoda. We've actually just got a new one. It's only a few weeks old.
Yeah.
And it is our 3rd Kokoda Caravan.
So you kind of like them then?
We like them. Yeah, we do. And so we love the new van is beautiful. I'm so in love.
Oh, good.
We're very happy. But as for the Kokoda brand, we don't have sponsorship or anything. We're just so passionate about the brand and the people. So Glenn and I run the Kokoda Caravan Owners Group. Have done that since about 2016. And then we also do the Kokoda national gatherings. So we get caravans from all over the country, get together, usually about every 18 months, and we choose a different state each time. So we have been to state in the country, not necessarily, but Tassie. We haven't been to Tassie. Can't expect people to spend the money, unfortunately, on the ferry to go over to Tassie, but we've been everywhere else. And we get close to 100 caravans each time, 200 people.
That's great.
And we raise money. So this year we've raised nearly $10,000 for Mates, which is return servicemen and women. So we're really proud that we can help out worthy charities.
Yeah, there's probably over the past $40,000 we raised for RFDS over the first initial
and the CFS fire in Victoria, and so we've varied our charities, and really glad that we can help out with that. And the Kokodians are so generous, and we all just have such a great time when we get together. When we were considering buying this new van, the thought popped into our heads, do we look at other brands? But it was only there for a fleeting second because we couldn't possibly leave what we do with the brand. Yeah. That we do for love.
Yeah.
We are genuinely passionate.
Kokoda are very fortunate, aren't they?
Oh, we think so.
Yeah. Gosh.
But I also believe that we promote what we genuinely are passionate about. We would never promote anything that we're paid to good. I don't want to go down the path of products and all that sort of thing, because we just want to be here for the people to give travel tips and ideas and campsites. And we're not in it for the money.
It's a glorified hobby.
It is.
Really.
Yeah.
So that myth about making thousands from YouTube?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, all YouTubers that.
We are making some money now, which is nice. But
Excellent.
My gosh, it doesn't pay for anywhere near. And we just said we don't spend that much money either.
Yeah.
But it's taken years to get to this point too.
Yep.
We started our channel in 2015.
It does offset the fuel bill.
Which is
slightly, yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. So it's not paying for everything, but it's nice. It's nice to get something.
Yeah. But if we miss a week, it doesn't really worry us.
Because we do it because we want to do it, not because we're committed to putting out an episode every single week like some people do. I don't want
deadlines. I'm terrible with deadlines.
Yeah.
And, if we
takes the fun
out. Can get one out each week, that's a bonus.
We can be on a run, do that, but then sometimes because sometimes we've got 2 weeks worth of content in one episode. So how can you possibly put up one a week? That don't work.
No.
We have to have some time to catch up every now and then.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, my final question is, what is the number one free camp on your list? Which one would you go back? Yeah, which one would you go back to? Which one is really outstanding for you?
We tend to have favourites, but favourites in each state.
Okay.
But are they free camps? We've got some. I really like.
Hey, it's Annette Jones from Big Lap Chats here. Just interrupting this episode to let you know, if you want to get the answer to this part of the question, then you'll need to join up to my membership where you can hear the extended version. The URL to go to do that is blccrew.allaroundoz.com.au. You can also find a link in the show notes over at allaroundoz.com.au/podcast. Otherwise, let's get back to our regular podcast.
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
Single out your favourite child.
Yeah, it is like that. It's like when people say, what's your favourite spot where you've been so far? And
I can't answer that.
Yeah, it is like trying to choose.
What we say when somebody asks us that is we have never stayed anywhere that we wouldn't stay again. There's nowhere that we dislike.
Yeah.
And sometimes you could jag a great site and you might have horrible wind or it rain all the time. So it spoils.
It doesn't mean it's a bad campsite. It's just your experience. Yeah. So it just means you have to go back again.
Flies are a
menace. Flies are a menace. So for people who don't know, that haven't come across you before, where can they find you hanging out online?
So, Happy Campers Australia on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. Yep. Their website as well, happycampersaustralia.com.au. But we mainly focus now on Facebook and YouTube with a little bit of Insta. Started to do a few reels and stories, which we're not real. We feel like we're a bit old for that stuff, but we're getting into it.
Yeah.
And the Instagram with the hashtags.
I found out with the YouTube shorts, the Instagrams, reels, it's the same format, so it's easy to cross-pollinate.
Just have a search for Happy Campers Australia.
Don't forget the Australia bit because it's the registered name.
Yeah, and also there's Happy Campers all over the world in other countries. Right. So that's why we added the Australia to make sure that we are focused on Australian travel.
Yeah. And the little caravan.
Yeah, the little logo with the caravan. Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining me today. For the listeners won't know all the technical hassles that we had before we got to do this today. I do appreciate your patience and thank you for joining me today.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Yeah, no, it's been very enjoyable. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for tuning in to Big Lap Chats. We hope today's episode helped you take another step towards planning your lap of Australia. And if you're already on the road, we hope you picked up some great tips on where to stay and what to see and do along the way. If you found it helpful, we'd love your feedback. Head over to allaroundoz.com.au/podcast, where you can also download the show notes and find more resources to help with your journey. We'll be back next week with more tips and stories about caravanning, camping, and planning your lap of Australia. Until then, happy travels.